Next up, we have the Adepteus Mechanicus.
Ooh.
The flesh is weak. Replace with toaster.
Okay, you got a picture for me?
I have a picture for you. One second.
You can keep them off screen, by the way, because then you'll just pop them up, right?
Yeah.
Can you zoom in? Okay, you said the flesh is weak, replace with toaster?
Yes.
What? So are they still humans?
They are humans. They were originally from Mars, and they are technophiles. They seek to find perfection in the mechanical and find that the flesh is weak. They believe in knowledge, and they believe in steel more than they believe in the actual human. They value knowledge more than a single human life.
Okay. But they're still human, eh?
But they're still human.
Okay.
They are the only religious subfaction. They are the only ones that are allowed to have a religion outside of the sanctioned one.
Excuse me, but what about my sororitas?
They follow the Imperial Creed that the Emperor of Man is a god. The only religious subfaction. So
okay.
They don't necessarily believe that the Emperor is a god.
Yeah.
They consider him the omnissah, which is like a messiah of the machine god, but they believe in the machine god.
Yeah.
That there is a spirit within every machine and it must be appeased. Nowadays, if say your car was breaking it down, you would take it to a mechanic and he would try and like understand what's going on, and like you would go to the manual or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If your car broke down in the 40,000 millennium, you would have this dude who's just like has like tentacles coming out everywhere, multiple arms, his eyes are missing, like he just covered in a red cloth. And it goes over and he starts chanting in like binary. He pulls out an incense thing, starts waving that around while he chants even more.
What the hell are you talking about?
And then he rubs it in oil and he chants some more and prays.
Does it fix my car?
To fix the car.
Does it fix it?
Maybe not.
Okay, I was going to say, if it fixed it, I don't care what you do, just fix my goddamn vehicle.
They are software developers where they're just like, please work, please work, please work,
oh,
please
dear
work.
God, no wonder you resonate with them.
They're the only one that are allowed to have that multiple, like, not believe the emperor is a god, because they make all of this stuff and you don't want to piss them off. I have a quote to tell you.
Gotta find this leg. Sorry. Okay, go.
From the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me. I craved the strength and certainty of steel. I aspired to the purity of the blessed machine. Your kind cling to your flesh as if it will not decay and fail you. One day, the crude biomass you call a temple will wither, and you will beg my kind to save you. But I am already saved, for the machine is immortal.
So these are Terminator people.
We have more Terminators later on. But so, yeah, they will replace themselves.
To a layman like myself, how would you describe these guys? First ones were humans, right?
Cyborgs.
There we go. We're going to keep a list of this because I want a list of this so that I understand what each faction is.
Yes, they are cyborgs. There are a few things to them that are heretical. Progress and new ideas are heretical. You do not research into things that don't already exist. To them, all knowledge in the universe already exists and they can be learned from the past, which kind of makes sense to them because they are coming on the heels of the dark age of technology where they had much superior technology than what the era of 40k has. You can't improve on what is already there because the technology of the 40k universe is severely degraded in comparison to what had come before. So they're constantly looking for something called STCs, Standard Template Constructs, which were used in the dark age of technologies as tools to construct anything with vast amounts of knowledge from that era. And if they find a planet that has one, they will pay any price, or if it's a small enough planet, just kill everyone there to get that STC. Some soldiers at one point found an STC to make that just makes fancy knives. These were given to the Space Marines, and each of the soldiers that found the STC were given a planet each.
What's the SDC? Sorry.
It's like a giant database with a 3D printer.
Seriously?
Yeah. So complete SDCs will build anything that's in their repository of knowledge. It was often used in generational ships, so that way when the ship arrived at the planet, they would have all of the knowledge of humanity when they had left and would be able to build whatever they needed to in order to survive on this new planet.
Okay.
Yeah. The other heresy is AI, the abominable intelligence.
Isn't it always?
It's always. And this was because during the Dark Age of technology, a faction called the Men of Iron rose up against humanity and drove it down into the Age of Strife. It had almost completely obliterated humanity as a civilization in the galaxy. So instead, the Adepteus Mechanicus focus on their own knowledge, using themselves, becoming a computer themselves, and just adopting their own flesh into metal.
We're still on the hate skin make toaster.
Yes, hate skin make toaster. This is why when they actually try and make workers, they don't use robots. They instead just, take a human and take out their frontal lobe and program them to do whatever they want.
Babies.
Yes. They'll make servitors to do what they want to. Their military side of it, which is a playable faction, is called the Scutari. And they leave just enough of the frontal lobe so that way they can take commands and can act somewhat independently, but they are still programmed to do what they want. But yeah, they just take whoever they want and just scoop at the brains, program them for tasks. Remember, humans have no value to them.
I was going to say, you told me not to take, Warhammer seriously, right? That's the point of the world.
Yep.
But medically, taking out someone's brains and keeping them still alive is very hard.
This is 40,000 years in the future.
I just can't see a world where that's easily doable.
Yeah, well.
Okay, quick question for you.
Yeah.
While you're, my Retributor squad, are these basically, is this my main general and these are my 4 sub-generals, or what's the deal? Because, I think when I'm building these 4 will have the same options for weapons. And then this is my main person. What's the deal with this versus my combat box?
That's just a sergeant. So this is a unit, and that's the sergeant of, the leader of this group.
And when I get my Christmas box, am I getting, the god of my group, or what?
Yeah, so you're going to get a major leader.
Okay.
When we go through actual army construction itself, I'll show you how that kind of works.
Okay, cool.
But in the tabletop, these would be always working together versus a leader like Morinval will just be separate.
Oh, so I can't separate these if I was playing a game?
No.
Interesting.
They stick together.
Okay.
Back to the Adepteus Mechanicus. To give you a little bit of an idea of how little they care for human life, there was once a fleet of refugees that had showed up at a Forge World. They had been running from the horrors of the galaxy, and they had just barely got out of there, and they were looking to seek refuge. The local Mechanicus saw all these ships, and they looked at their numbers, and they saw, oh, we don't have enough servitors. That ship, they brought them down, and they made them all servitors. The rest of the ships were left in orbit to slowly starve to death. Because it didn't matter to them. The other thing, too, is that knowledge is often not, because it's all separate and there's knowledge everywhere. Often there's only 1 or 2 tech priests that actually understand how something works. So they have something that kind of looks like a chicken walker that they don't know how to turn it off and turn it back on again. So if they are transporting it, they just rope it up and let it run around in circles. Because if they turn it off, they don't know how to turn it on again because the one tech priest that knew how to operate them had died. Yeah, so they're
I mean,
it's like
what do you want me to say to that?
It's like you have a server and you don't know what to do with it, so you just don't touch it. You leave it alone. And okay, whatever, it works. If I touch it, just pray that it works again, whatever.
It doesn't sound like a very good server, but okay.
It's not. Mhm. Their weapons range from they range from like basically electrical arcs to radium weapons. Literally shooting pellets of radium to give people cancer. And also using phosphor. If you know what white phosphor is, it's a war crime.
Oh, crap.